Street Genius, Part 27. My parents are good people. I don't blame them for any of this. Not anymore, at least. And I love them very much. They have their own stories and their own journeys and their own problems, just as all parents do, and just as all of their parents do, and so on. And like all parents, my parents, with the best of intentions, imparted some of their problems to me, as I probably will to my kids. When real traumatic shit like this happens in our lives, we begin unconsciously, we begin to unconsciously feel as though we have problems that we're incapable of ever solving. And this assumed inability to solve our problem causes us to feel miserable and helpless. But it also causes something else to happen. If we have problems that are unsolvable, our unconscious figures that we're either uniquely special or uniquely defective in some way, that we are somehow unlike everyone else and that the rules must be different for us. Put simply, we become entitled. The pain from my adolescence, the pain from my adolescence led me down to a road of entitlement that lasted through much of my early adulthood. Whereas Jimmy's entitlement played out in the business world, where he pretended to be a huge success, my entitlement played out in my relationships, particularly with women. My trauma had revolved around intimacy and acceptance, so I felt a constant need to overcompensate to prove to myself that I was loved and accepted at all times. And as a result, I soon took to chasing women the same way a cocaine addict takes, the same way a cocaine addict takes to a snowman made out of cocaine. I made sweet love to it and then promptly suffocated myself in it. I became a player, an immature, selfish, albeit sometimes charming player, and I strung up a long series of superficial and unhealthy relationships for the better part of a decade. It wasn't so much the sex I craved, although the sex was fun, it was the validation. I was wanted, I was loved. For the first time since I could remember, I was worthy. My craving for validation quickly fed into mental habit of self-aggrandizing and overindulgence. I felt entitled to say or do whatever I wanted, to break people's trust, to ignore people's feelings, and then justify it later with shitty half-assed apologies. While this period certainly had its moments of fun and excitement, and I met some wonderful women, my life was more or less wreck the whole time. I was often unemployed, living on friends' couches or with my mom, drinking way more than I should have been, alienating a number of friends, and when I did meet a woman I really liked, my self absorption quickly torpedoed everything.